Welcome to the Explainer. You know, there's just something about motorcycling, right? It's this mix of total freedom and intense focus that's unlike anything else. So today, we're going to distill that whole experience down into one essential journey, from the moment you get the bug all the way to mastering the road today. Let's jump in.
So here's our roadmap for this journey. First, we'll get into the allure of two wheels and the actual backbone of the bike. Then we'll look at the absolutely huge spectrum of machines out there today. After that, it's all about you, the rider, your essential toolkit, and finally, how to master the single most important survival skill out there, getting through an intersection.
So, let's start at the beginning. What is it about putting an engine between two wheels that has completely captivated people for, more than 140 years now? It's really this incredible story of constant evolution, this relentless drive to go faster, to go further, and to do it all more reliably.
Think about it. It all kicked off in 1885 with Daimler's Reitwagen, which honestly was just a way to test out an engine. It wasn't even meant to be a motorcycle. Fast forward to World War I, and you've got the trusty Triumph, proving these things could be tough as nails on the battlefield. Then, bam, 1969. The Honda CB750 lands, and it changes everything. It kicked off the superbike era and made that four-cylinder engine an icon. And now? Well, now we're in a whole new age with bikes like the all-electric Honda WN7, which are completely rewriting the rules.
Okay, so let's talk about the one single thing that ties all of those machines together. From that very first wooden riding car all the way to the latest silent electric bike, we're talking about the frame. You know, the frame has a truly massive job. It's the one solid piece that connects everything. Your steering, your engine, your suspension. It's what dictates how the whole machine feels and handles. And it needs this thing called torsional rigidity, which is just a fancy way of saying it has to be super resistant to twisting forces. That's what keeps the bike feeling stable and predictable, instead of like a wet noodle.
And really, the absolute simplest way to think about it is right here. It's the bike's skeleton. It's the core that everything else bolts onto. The muscles of the engine, the limbs of the suspension, and of course, you.
So that one simple concept, the frame, is now the foundation for an unbelievable spectrum of machines. They're all designed for wildly different jobs. A motorcycle today isn't just one thing. It's a whole universe of specialized tools for the road. And to see just how diverse we're talking about, let's just look at two brand new models from opposite ends of that universe. On one side, you've got the Honda WN7. It's silent, it's electric, it's mass-produced for the city. And on the other, the KTM 450 Rally Replica, a hand-built, gas-guzzling beast made for literally one of the toughest races on the entire planet. So, let's look at the Honda. It's all about quiet, efficient performance. You get about 83 miles of real-world range, which is absolutely perfect for getting to work, running errands, daily life in the city. It's practical, it's accessible, it's what electric commuting is all about. And then there's the KTM. This thing is the absolute pinnacle of off-road competition. It is so ridiculously specialized that for this particular edition, they're only making five units for the entire world, all hand-built. So you've got a silent commuter on one hand and a literal desert weapon on the other. They could not be more different. But you know what? They still share that same fundamental two-wheel DNA. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the machine, but now we need to switch gears and focus on the single most important component in all of motorcycling. And that's you, the rider. Because, look, owning the bike is one thing, but mastering it and taking full responsibility for your own safety, well, that's everything. And that responsibility? It starts before you even put the key in the ignition. Check this out. A shocking 70% of all roadside breakdowns come from simple, preventable maintenance issues. Stuff a rider could have easily caught and fixed right there in their own garage. So what's the takeaway? It's all about accountability. You have to take charge, and it's not that hard. Just making these 5 super simple checks part of your regular routine, tires, brakes, chain, oil, and battery, can be the difference between a great ride and a catastrophic failure on the road. So once the bike is sorted, it's time to sort yourself out. And that means wearing the right armor. We're talking a high-quality helmet, that's your last line of defense, always, a good suit to protect you from road rash, and amazing modern tech like integrated airbags. Every single piece of your gear, right down to your gloves and your boots, has a critical job to do. Now, being responsible also means having a game plan.
A clear strategy for what is, without a doubt, the single most dangerous situation any of us will ever face on a street bike, the dreaded intersection.
Just look at this number, nearly 40%. That's almost half of all crashes between a bike and another vehicle. It happens when a car makes a left turn, right into the rider's path. And in fatal crashes, that number gets even worse. This right here, this is the #1 threat we have to deal with.
So why does this happen so often? Well, you always hear the driver say, "I'm so sorry, I just didn't see him." And here's the scariest part. They're probably telling the truth. It's a phenomenon researchers call the looked but failed to see error. Basically, the driver's brain is so busy scanning for big threats, like other cars and trucks, that our smaller profile gets filtered out. Their brain literally doesn't register that we are there. So what can you do about it? You can't control their brain, but you can control yours. And the most effective defense is a mental strategy called SEE. First, you have to actively search for threats. Look for clues, like a car's wheels already being turned. Next, you evaluate. You play out the worst-case scenario in your head, assume they are going to pull out, and figure out your escape plan. And finally, you get ready to execute. You cover your brakes. You get ready to react in a split second.
When you boil it all down, it really comes to this. The single most important mindset that will keep you safe, more than any piece of gear, more than any fancy electronics on your bike, is to ride as if you are completely and totally invisible. Assume no one can see you ever. You have to be your own safety net out there. You know, this constant change in both the machines and in the skills we need to ride them, that's what makes this whole story so fascinating. The technology is going to keep changing, the dangers on the road will evolve, but that core connection, that bond between the rider, the machine, and the road, that's not going anywhere. Which just makes you wonder, what's the rider's journey going to look like in another 100